China deploying 50,000 troops, 150 jets and surface-to-air missiles at LAC. The border dispute between India and China took another swing, with Beijing reportedly deploying 50,000 troops, along with 150 fighter jets and surface-to-air missiles (SAM), along the line of actual control (LAC). According to Indian defense experts, India is thoroughly prepared to deal with any eventuality, with their armed forces already reinforcing their forward positions in the high-altitude region to counter any new military build-ups from the Chinese as they look at Beijing to make the first move. Today, 11th September, as Indian and Chinese foreign ministers successfully concluded meeting in Moscow, there were reports that the Indian side had highlighted its strong objection at the massing of PLA soldiers and military equipment along the LAC, without any credible explanation for the deployment. According to intelligence gathered from top Indian officials by Times, China has positioned around 50,000 troops, air missile systems, a large section of rocket forces, and 150 fighters, along with bombers and other jets at airbases based in Xinjiang and Tibet, within a striking distance of the de facto border, their largest build-up of troops in the region. Although, a top official source has played down the situation, stating that the People's Liberation Army (PLA) are resorting to pinpricking, and their deployment has not reached the threshold of a full-blown conflict. PLA group deployments along the line of actual control (LAC) in eastern Ladakh are not tactically geared for war as of now. But yes, the pinpricks will continue, said the official. However, India has steered a clear warning towards Beijing against breaching the Indian perimeter around its forward posts, which includes barbed wire establishments on the heights. They constitute a red line. In fact, nowhere are we underprepared now, the official said. New Delhi's warning to Beijing comes at the back of bullets being fired in Makpari Top in the Chushul sector on Monday, September 07, the first time in 45 years in the Ladakh region. The PLA has been steadily bolstering its build-up in the region since May, which includes troops participating in a military exercise in Tibet. According to intelligence from the top officials, the PLA groups are working under the direct instructions of Beijing, and if the actions lead to a war, China will have to pay a big price. The dispute is being directed from the very top of the political military hierarchy in China, not by the exuberance of local PLA commanders. It can take any trajectory. But if China wants to start a war, it will also have to pay a heavy price, the official said. Following what was the second major clash at the Pangong Tso region along the border between Indian and Chinese soldiers, the Indian army cruised to occupying strategic heights of the south bank of the lake. Since then, PLA has repeatedly tried sending in light tanks and infantry combat vehicles across the border, which has been blocked by the larger tanks of the Indian army, which have, according to the official, been given full freedom to foil all provocative actions of the Chinese. Our soldiers on the heights are well armed and fully prepared. We have even driven tanks up the ridgeline near Rikin mountain pass, said the official. Although the People's Liberation Army (PLA), under Commander-in-Chief Xi Jinping, wants to expand the territorial map on the basis of Green Line, defined by a 1959 map circulated by Prime Minister Zhou Enlai under leader Mao Zedong, the Chinese position on resolving the border issue with India has changed over the decades, as per convenience of the ruler of Beijing. After Mao Zedong changed the facts on ground by building the Lhasa-Kashgar Highway, number 219, through Aksai Chin in 1956, Prime Minister Zhou Enlai in 1960 offered his Indian counterpart Jawaharlal Nehru to resolve the border on his "it is where it is" principle. This meant that China was recognizing Indian sovereignty over Arunachal Pradesh, or Northeast Frontier Agency as it was known then, while India would recognize Beijing's claim to Aksai Chin south of Haji Langar Pass. This was never accepted by India and was one of the most important reasons behind the Chinese aggression in 1962. Today China is in adverse possession of more than 38,180 sq kilometers of Indian land, including 5,180 sq kilometers of Shaksgam Valley, gifted by Pakistan in 1963. On February 14, 1979, then Vice Premier and later Paramount leaders Deng Xiaoping met Foreign Minister, later Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and offered a package deal for resolve the boundary issue. Deng said that Chinese were willing to make concessions on the eastern sector to India, while New Delhi should make similar concessions in the western sector. While the concessions were not specified, Deng said that the resolution of the border could be shelved to the next generation, as long as both sides maintain a stable situation on the border. Deng reiterated this proposal in 1985 also. The Chinese position again took a radical turn after the 1986 Somdrong-Chu incident in North Arunachal Pradesh. In 1987, Chinese Vice Foreign Minister Liu Shuqing told his Indian counterpart Secretary, East, P. Venkateswaran in New Delhi, that China was looking for concessions both on eastern and western sectors in order to solve the boundary issue. Deng was the leader of China and chairman of the all-powerful Central Military Commission. Since then, a plethora of agreements and protocols have been signed to maintain peace and tranquility on the 3488 km line of actual control (LAC) with China. After the Special Representative Dialogue was set up between India and China to resolve the boundary issue in 2005, 22 meetings have taken place between India's National Security Advisor and Chinese State Councillor, but the boundary issue has hardly moved towards resolution. China still calls Arunachal Pradesh South Tibet and India boundary and Ladakh claims all of Aksai Chin. While there is hope that the present standoff between PLA and Indian Army may result in at least exchanging of maps in western sector so that each side knows the other's positions and claims, the Chinese belligerence and deliberate provocation from Depsang to Pangong Tso this year does not augur well for peace.
They're back.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they had it.
Did
They
you
had
get them
it.
back?
Right.
Yeah. Pull them back.
Pull your safeties out. Just your safety.